Hello everyone, my name is Spencer Rose and it is week 8 and I'm doing my oral presentation on the development of medieval English drama. Okay, so there's a few different types of dramatic plays that existed at the time. They were morality, miracle, and mystery. I also do feel like I should briefly mention liturgical dramas. Those were performed in or near churches and typically had to deal with the Bible. They were Bible stories like Methuselah, which is the only person I know from the Bible. And I feel like I should mention this because one of the unique things about morality plays that I'll explain is how steeped in religion they are. Technically, morality plays are not liturgical dramas, but they sort of feel like the in-between where they should be, but they're technically not because morality plays are more about morals, whereas liturgical dramas are straight up religion. It is about God. So that's I just wanted to mention that. So I'll be focusing on morality plays. As I said, I do believe the other people in my group will be focusing on mystery and miracle, so I'm not really going to talk about those at all. What is a morality play? As I said, the term moral is in the title. It is a play that intends to teach good morals to the masses, and it is typically steeped in the Christian church, the Christian message. I read an article, Morality Plays and Elizabethan Dramas by Hardin Craig, and so I'll be quoting that right now. Craig describes morality plays as lacking personal motivation or any inward struggle. The hero is not the individual, but is instead humanity as a whole. Another author, Merle Fifield, describes morality in moral plays as developed essentially through interactions of characterizations designed to realize a generalization rather than a fictional or historical individuation. So essentially, our main character who we're watching, they're not a real person, they're us. It's like a massive fourth wall break, I suppose, and that's very unique to morality plays. As you know, most plays, we care about the character and their individual quest. We are not them. And this is like, no, you are the character. You're supposed to learn from this. I also want to go briefly into pre-Reformation or pre-Protestantism and morality plays. I feel like I should say that Protestants are in the branch of Christianity. I didn't know that. I thought they were Christians with like different names. But no, they're Protestants. They have a different understanding from the Bible. They also are against some of the aspects of the Christian church, such as the corruptness in it. I read an article that talked about the English morality play as a weapon of religious controversy. And it states that pre-Reformation morality plays were made to teach their audience about salvation, and they took didactic opportunities. So what that means is essentially the Christian church took plays and they made them informative, like school, like you're learning about morals. We're not here to have fun like any other play ever, which is why you go to the theater, you go to have fun. No, the Christian church was like, we're gonna make these informative. You're gonna learn how to be a good person and believe in God, essentially. Some other themes in morality plays are vices and virtues, and a fight between, good and evil, God and Satan. And one of the unique characteristics is that they are entirely allegorical. But I do want to talk about Everyman. That is the text that we had to read in class this week that I chose to focus on. And so Everyman is considered the most widely known morality play. When I was doing research on this, it was that one. There were a ton of others, but this was the big one. I just felt like it personified the term moral. It is also, according to the majority opinion, said to have been translated from a Dutch play, Elkerlijk, written by Peter van Diest or Petrus Dorlandus. I think that is the same person, just different name translation. And as we read in the play, it has God and death, and it also has confession and fellowship and knowledge and good deeds and goods. And it's very religious. It is a very, very religious play. To reference the article I mentioned before that condemned religion and Everyman, the author stated that the protagonist of Everyman is reminded that in his judgment before God, his good deeds will be weighed against his bad. Every old morality contains passage in which virtues expound the cardinal tenets of Christianity. from what I understand, the cardinal tenets are salvation, baptism in the Holy Spirit, divine healing, and the second coming of Christ. I did have to look that up because I didn't know that. But in Everyman, a lot of the message is that the only thing that will stand with you are your good deeds. Beauty will not, your goods will not. And right now I'm going to read an interaction that happens between goods and Everyman. Everyman says, "Alas, I have thee loved and had great pleasure all my life days on good and treasure." And goods responds in saying, "That is to thy damnation without lissing, for my love is contrary to the love everlasting. But if thou had loved moderately during, as to the poor give part of me, and then should thou not in this dolor be, nor in this great sorrow care." Goods, material goods, is literally telling him, your love for me is nothing in comparison to love everlasting, which I've only ever seen literally in relation to God, whose love with us is everlasting. And that goods would have only mattered if you gave them to other people to help them. It basically condemns property, owning things, having things you love, you shouldn't have them. And I think that's really interesting in a message, because I always feel like plays at the time were shown to everyone, both rich and poor. But why, like, poor people, they don't have anything. They can barely read. They can. Some of them are gaining literacy at this time, but I just feel like that's such an interesting message to be teaching everyone, that God is all you need. Everyman really goes hard on religion, on beauty will turn its back on you, your friends will, all that will stay with you is good deeds. And unfortunately, Everyman, his good deeds is pretty weak because he didn't have a lot. And at the end of the play, it says God will say, "Ite maledicti in ignem aeternum," which is Latin for "go everlasting into eternal fire." That is frightening to hear. Why are you reading this to people? If you don't morally do these things that the Christian church is telling you to do, you're gonna go to hell. That is awful. But morality plays are really unique. I thought they were really interesting to read about, and I think it's really interesting that there is a branch of play that is literally Christian propaganda. And I hope you all learned something from me explaining morality plays. I thought this was interesting, and that is it.